Hi, I'm Mrs.D Math. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, we're going to cover the surface area of prisms in 8th grade math. The surface area of a 3D figure is the total when you add up the area of all the surfaces. You can use a net or a formula. So the first thing we're going to do is look at a net. A prism is going to be recognized as the shape of a box. It could be all rectangle side lengths, or you could have squares, so it could be a cube. But in this case, we have our box and we have opened it up and laid it down flat. So we have all the surfaces here. We're going to find the area of each surface and then we want to add those up. So if you're using a net, it's pretty easy just to figure out the area of each section. So first we want to find the area of our bases, and the base is going to be the one here in the middle because all these sides are going to fold up. So the smaller boxes here are going to be your side faces, and then the one here between the green and the one at the very bottom are going to fold up to be part of the other side faces. So the green part is your base, and then the opposite of that is your other base, your top. So first we're going to find the area of the green faces. So in this case, I'm going to be multiplying 10 times 6. So the length is 10, the width is 6, and that's going to equal 60. Then we're going to find the area of the next section. So these areas, first of all, it's going to be a length of 10. But if you look here, this side length is not marked, but it has to be the same as this side length, because if you fold it up, those are going to match. So that would be 5 inches. So 10 times 5 is 50. And then my last section that I'm going to have to figure out is the sides. And this is going to be 5 by 6, which equals 30. Now, you have to be careful because we only found the area of this section, and one of these. And so now we have to figure out the area of the whole thing by doubling each of those. So this is going to be times 2, which equals 120. The 50 will be times 2, which is 100. And then 30 times 2 is 60. So now I can add these up and I get 280. This is going to be inches squared because we're just finding the area. This is the total surface area. So this is how much space is on the outside of the box. Volume is going to measure the interior. How much can I fit inside the box? That's going to be your cubed because we are finding length, width, and height. If you notice here, we're only multiplying 2 digits at a time. We did have to double everything, but that's because we had to find each of these squares. So I had to double 30 inches for this box and this box. And then I had to double 60 inches for the 2 green boxes and 50 inches for the 2 purple boxes. So I ended up having to double everything, but I didn't multiply anything 3 times. I did not multiply 10 times 6 times 5. So now we have the surface area of a rectangular prism, and we're going to use the formula. So this right here is the box actually folded all up with the same dimensions. We have 10 by 6 by 5. So now we're going to look at how to use the formula to figure this out. So to find the surface area, the formula we use is 2 times capital B, which means the area of the base, plus capital P times H. That P times H is your lateral area. So that's going to be the area of these sides right here. So this side, this other end, the front of the box, and then that back side back there. So it's not going to include this section, that's your top, and this is your bottom. So the area of the base is this capital B. So that's your 10 times 6. And then they want me to double that because I have an opposite side that's going to be the same. So I'm going to double that. Then we're going to add the lateral area. The lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height. So that would be the same as multiplying 5 times 6 and 5 times 10 and doubling it. Your shorter process is just to find the perimeter of the base. So that's 10 plus 6 plus 10 plus 6. That's going to give us 32 times your height, 5. So then we're going to just solve for the surface area. So 10 times 6 is 60, and 60 times 2 is 120. 32 times 5 is 160, and then I just have to add those up, and I get 280 inches squared. And if you notice, I ended up with the same answer I had on my last example when I had the net figure. Everything was folded out. So this 160 here is the same as 10 times 5, which is 50, times 2, which equals 100, and then 6 times 5, which is 30, and if we double that, we end up with 60, so that's 160. So you can see here, the perimeter of the base times the height is the same as each side length times the height, and then doubling it. So we can also find the surface area of a prism with triangular bases. So this is called a triangular prism. We can use the same formula, but you have to remember in a triangular prism, the triangles are always the bases. So we're going to find the total surface area using our same formula. S equals 2 times the area of the base, and the area of the base is going to be our triangles. So the area of a triangle, if you look at your formula chart, is 1/2 base times height. So my base is 8, my height is 3, and then I'm going to multiply that times 1/2. So that's 24 times 1/2, which equals 12. So now 2 times the area of the base plus capital P times H, which is our lateral area. So again, that's going to be the perimeter of the base, and your base is still the triangle. So I have to add this up. So it's 5 plus 5 plus 8, so that's 18, times my height, which is 10. The height is going to be the distance between the two bases. So in this case, because it's a triangular prism, your height's always going to be the distance between the two triangles. So now I can just solve this problem. So my surface area is 2 times 12, which is 24, plus 18 times 10, which is 180. When I add those up, I end up with 204 inches squared. The only difference between a triangular prism and a rectangular prism is that the triangular prism has different side shapes. There's triangles and rectangles, and so you have to use the triangles always as your bases. If you look at a rectangular prism, even though we went with a certain base because it was on the bottom, really you could use any side as your base, but whatever side you use as your base, the other sides have to be your lateral area, your pH. Thanks for joining me today. I hope this video over surface area of prisms in 8th grade math helped you understand how to use the formula in order to solve for the surface area. I'm Mrs.D. Math. Have a great day. Bye.